Hey guys, it's Darcy. I'm back. I know it's been a moment. I'm going to be chatting about invisible illnesses, whether that be mental or physical. The whole inspiration of this video was for me just to be honest and personal because I have a chronic illness. I have a central nervous system condition, fibromyalgia. I also have been through certain mental struggles as well. So I just wanted to open up if anyone can relate, if it makes you feel a bit seen or less alone. If you want to chat about it in the comments or whatever, let me know. And to raise awareness so people can have empathy and understanding. I feel that the more knowledge out there about certain conditions hopefully will allow humanity to kind of have a bit more acceptance, as they should have acceptance, because so many individuals are going through something mentally or physically and they didn't ask for this to happen, so we should have acceptance. I just want to chat about it a bit. This might be kind of personal. I'm going to be speaking from my own experiences, but I also have loved ones who are dealing with certain situations, and then I also have met some people online and we've chatted about this, and I've done the research, and it's just there are some parallels. But do remember, keep in mind, everyone's condition is different, impacts everyone differently. That's always to remember. You could even have two people that are close and they could have the same condition and be completely different symptoms. Here's mine, and here's what helps me, and it's just gonna be kind of like an open little chronic illness video, I guess. If you want to know what it's like, at least for me, is chronic illness can almost feel like having the flu every day is how I would describe it. So if you're sick, you already know what I'm talking about. So you already know. But if you're healthy, imagine you right now when you get the flu or something, some type of bug or whatever that wipes you out for a few days or a week or two. You feel so sick that you're stuck in bed a lot, or your house, you can't do much. When you try, your energy is just low. Some chronic illnesses, that's how people feel every single day. It feels like you have the flu every single day, but yet we're still expected to find joy in life. We have to, and do responsibilities, and sometimes get out and socialize and move our body and take care of ourselves and others. Whatever task that you may have to have done in the day, you got to do it. But you don't feel well. And the symptoms vary person to person, but my symptoms I'll get into in a little bit. You should have some compassion towards others, that they're not faking it. It's just they're so used to having to cope. Is that the right word? I guess so. Cope, that they can mask. And masking is, there's a lot of different definitions of masking, but when it comes to chronic illness masking, that is when you go about life and people can't really tell how you're feeling, because when you're out in public, you're smiling. People ask, how are you? And you're like, I'm doing fine, because maybe you don't want to get into it, or you don't want to talk about certain things to others. Rather it be mental or physical, you can mask. Someone can mask an illness that they're going through. For example, when people are depressed and you wouldn't even know it, because maybe they're the most joyful, smiley people. Hey, you get out of there. Hold on, she about to knock everything over. Go play with Giraffe. Go get Giraffe. What was I talking about? Depression. What a fun topic. Anyway, girl, that's my okay. I was clinically diagnosed with depression about a year ago, thankfully out of that, but no one knew because I could mask extremely well. And I'm really sick when I go out in public. Most of the time people can't really tell how I'm feeling because I mask. And it's not because I'm being fake, it's because I don't want to act like how I'm feeling. I want to feel good, so I try to act like I feel good. Otherwise, if I acted like how I felt all the time, I know I would spiral back into a depression. So by me being a bit more joyful when I am at home or when I am out, it kind of psychs me out a little bit. So even though I still don't feel well, it makes me feel a little bit better, even if it's just mentally and emotionally. Another example, on days when it's rough, occasionally I am just able to do the basic self-care and that's it. But if I'm able to do more, I will maybe put on some makeup like today and put on an outfit. It might seem silly, but it actually kind of gives you like okay, let me try to do something really small then. And it's the little things that kind of get you up and moving, or maybe will get me to do a workout versus if I stayed in my pajamas, I wouldn't want to do a workout. It's all the little things. Masking isn't someone trying to tell a lie. Masking is just hiding your symptoms. And it could even be coming from a place of one feeling like a burden, even though they aren't. I have heard this too, and I've even felt like this at times, where I didn't just want to drop how I actually felt on people, so I kind of just blended. Masking is tricky because people can be smiling and look entirely healthy and fine, but really there's just this storm cloud going on in their mind, and their body may be feeling completely unwell. And able to understand someone, you really just have to be vulnerable with them and ask. They may not tell you, I don't know, but just if you're curious about someone's situation and they're open to sharing, that's really the only way you can fully understand someone. Also do research, learn about their condition, be flexible. I think flexibility is number one for me when I'm trying to spend time with my loved ones. I feel bad sometimes. I don't like making plans with people because it's like, it's really tricky to make plans because I'm not feeling well most of the time, even though I want to be somewhere. So my friends are really understanding with me. I'm very blessed for that. But flexibility is helpful because I'm not always sure when I'm going to be feeling well or not. So if you're able to really have an honest conversation with someone, if you're able to learn about their condition and be flexible, keep an open mind, and realize that their body is different than yours, is not the same as a healthy person, then that's a really major step towards having humanity towards others. I just keep that in mind. Hi. Now time to chat about my condition. I don't know why I said that, so I got diagnosed with a central nervous system condition, chronic pain syndrome, and fibromyalgia, all from different doctors and different specialists, more locally, and also I traveled. I even went to the Mayo Clinic for almost a year. I was seeing all kinds of specialists there. That's a hospital. So they all kind of focused in on those diagnoses, but they're pretty much the same diagnosis. But it's just kind of shaky waters because I get different opinions. So if you can relate to what I'm going through, if you have any advice, please leave it in the comments because I'm still I think that's what's going on with me, but not entirely sure. So if there's like someone that sees this, that has some knowledge, you want to help a girl out. Okay, so I'm just going to spill it all out there right now. I have had x-rays, CT scans, MRIs, so many MRIs, lots of blood work. I don't have POTS. I'm not hypermobile. I got checked for mold. Heart monitor. My nerves are fine. I saw a functional medicine doctor for months. I've seen all types of different doctors, specialists. I'm not autoimmune. I don't have allergies. I tried different diets. I got my GI tract checked. I got a whole bunch of tests done. Basically, they ran out of tests pretty much because I've gotten so many different tests done that's why told me to, like, that's all that they could do. The last specialist I seen said at this current time, like, science has not evolved to the point where there's any more like, we've tested you for everything. The first few years that I was sick, I did get false diagnoses. They thought something was wrong with my spine. For like a year and a half, they thought there was something inside of my spine, which was really scary, but it actually was just my central canal, which is what you're supposed to have in there. That was nothing bad. So I was living life thinking there's something in my spine, trying to work on the next step, and turns out that was just a body part. Thank goodness I did not have surgery. So that's why I'm a little bit like, I've had false diagnoses already, so that's why I'm like, but those false diagnoses were when I was going to more local doctors. When I went to Mayo Clinic is when they seemed really interested in my case, and that's when they did all the testing. And Mayo Clinic is more recent. The last appointment I had with them, I mean, it was some months ago, but not that long ago. So it's only been about a year that I've known of these diagnoses. Otherwise, beforehand, for the first 4 years of me being sick, for 4 years, I did not know what was going on with me. So it's really recent, but yeah. A nervous system condition, basically, is the root here. So I'm going to chat about my symptoms, which is a lot, because your nervous system is your whole entire body. Alright, so this started when I was 20. I'm 25 now. It was really weird. I just woke up one day and felt completely different. Beforehand, I was so healthy, had no health problems. I did struggle a bit mentally, but I was very healthy, extremely active, maybe too active, that I wouldn't be surprised if maybe I accidentally burnt myself out and made my nervous system a little whacked out, because I was so active. On days off, I would literally drive by myself to this place. I guess I can't say where, because that would be like privacy matters. But anyways, on my own, I would take a trip and spend the day at this lovely place and surf and do photography, because I'm a photographer, and just have fun. Then I would hang out with friends. I would go skateboarding at nighttime, come home, and maybe if I had a little bit of homework or something to get ahead on or whatever. Like, I was so busy and active. I would surf. Sometimes I would paddle out 3 different times a day, surf all the time, skateboard. I was in soccer for years. I played soccer from first grade to my senior year. I was always busy, very active, had loads of energy, and it was weird. When I was 20, I just woke up, felt completely different, and I was like, this sucks. I feel sick. I was like, well, this will pass in a few days. Hasn't passed yet. It was just so weird. It was like something came over me and I felt so ill. And I still don't know what it is. I did not do anything. I didn't take anything. I did not have a vaccination. Nothing. It was just really random and a random day. And now my body is completely different. Like, it feels like I'm in a different body than how I was before. Even though I look the same, I don't feel the same internally. It's literally like, that feels like a different life, to be honest. It's been so long. How I feel now is like I would describe it. It almost feels like I have the flu every day. But I'm not autoimmune. And I don't have, I forgot what it's called, but it's mast cell syndrome. Maybe that's it. I don't have that. I don't have anything that they thought I had, basically. But it just feels like my body is just angry at itself, but it's, I don't know. Anyways, pain. I have loads of pain. Ever since this started on day 1, I got a headache at the back of my head. It's at the base of my head, right? Like right here. Right where your neck connects. And it feels like a toothache. And it goes down my neck and it goes down my spine. I have had that chronic toothache for the 5 years. It has not went away once, ever. Like, it started, it has not went away, but my x-rays and my scans look totally fine. Thankfully, but I don't know what's causing the headache. I get nerve zaps that go from the back all the way here. It feels sometimes like there's hot water dripping down my face. My nerves lock up in the back and in the front. It'll lock up all right here. It'll go down my arms. My arms will sometimes feel numb. When it gets really flared up, it's hard to use my fingers. That's why I had to temporarily drop out of college, because it's hard to use my fingers. I get migraines all the time. Screens are hard for me. That is why I am not posting too regularly. Oh, I have trouble with that word. Regularly. Screens, computer screens. And I'm a writer. I love to write, but it's really difficult for me to write much per day. So I just have to, like, sometimes I only am able to write like a poem or two a day because it's hard for me to use my hands. It's hard for me to be on screen. So I have slowly been building my poetry book. I've also been writing using like voice techniques and stuff with technology. But yeah, it's hard to use my hands. Migraines, if you know migraines, girl, migraines are rough because they make you feel nauseous, sensitivity to light, and they just rough. Migraines are rough because it'll come here and it'll throb and it'll be this piercing, throbbing headache. It's mostly on the right side, if you notice. I keep going to the right. So on the right, in the back, and right here, it's constant. But the left side flickers. And I never really get a headache right here on the left side. It's pretty much always on the right, which is interesting. I think it's some type of, I might be saying this wrong, but occipital neuralgia. That's what it feels as, but the doctors are telling me no, it's not. My nerves are totally fine. But when you look up occipital. Oh, I said it that time. That's what it feels like. I've tried nerve blockers though. I've tried cortisol shots. I've gotten them in my neck. They did not help, so don't know. Anyways, I get hot flashes, cold flashes. My legs sometimes will feel like they're numb. My body shakes, but not physically to where anyone can tell. My body internally shakes all the time, but it doesn't show physically. So I guess if I were to hold my hands like this, it would feel like they're shaking, but they're actually not. I call them the internal shakes. I get that, nausea, extreme brain fog, dizziness, lightheadedness. Sometimes things will move. Light, sound, smell sensitivities. I'm probably missing some things. Oh, like the main thing of fibromyalgia. Pain. I get pain all over. It's like I can feel everything is the way I would describe it. It's just my nervous system feels hyper aware. I can feel my joints. I can feel my bones. It almost feels like maybe I have arthritis all throughout certain places of my body. My bones, especially in my spine and in my neck, they feel like they're glued together. They feel like they're glued together, but they're like being ripped apart is how I would describe it. It's like I can feel everything. And my body feels very hyper aware and hypersensitive. But I am autistic, so my nervous system is already a little bit more sensitive than average because of that. But this is just a bit extreme because it never used to be like this before I got sick. It never used to be this intense. I always have been a little hyper aware because I am autistic. I do have certain sensitivities, but it's never been like this before. Shortness of breath I have, but yet the heart monitor was perfect and my heart scans were perfect. Thankfully they were. But I get shortness of breath. I'm probably missing a couple things. Well, that sounded bad enough. I don't really need a name anymore. I get extreme fatigue. It's not the type of, hey, I'm tired, let me push through. It's the type of fatigue where I start slurring. My fogginess gets so foggy where I'm not very aware what's going on at that point. I'm just so out of it. It's more of like I am so exhausted that my eyes are actually starting to close, and I'm so out of it that I'm just whacked out. I also wanted to note that ever since I got sick when I was 20, like I said, I've had that constant neck ache, headache. That does not go away. But the other symptoms that I just listed, they do come and go. They're constantly fluctuating throughout the day and throughout the night. They're there, but they change in intensity. There are sometimes as our days go by where I'm not lightheaded, but maybe I'm in extreme pain. Maybe I don't have a migraine, but I just have a headache. Maybe I have the shakes and I feel super nauseous, but I actually am more functionable. This teeter-totters, there's no pattern to it. Ongoing changes. Hour to hour is honestly different. That's why I call it my more good, refreshed moments where even though I still don't feel well, I'm more functioning. If I am not lightheaded, if I do not have bad brain fog, and if I don't have a migraine, then I'm able to get out and live my life and do responsibilities and actually sometimes do something maybe adventurous or maybe even go out with my friends. Occasionally, not too often, but sometimes I'm well enough on a night out where my friends are going dancing, and I'm so excited when that happens. But it's just, you never know how I'm going to feel hour to hour. So the refreshed moments I take advantage of, basically. And I always bring my bag that has all my stuff in it because, well, a majority of the time when I go out, typically my symptoms start to escalate if I stay somewhere for too long. But then there are other times where it doesn't. And even though I still always have certain symptoms, maybe on a scale from 0 to 10, maybe everything is kind of at a 2 or 3, or maybe 3 or 4. It's really rarely at a 2, but sometimes it's usually around 3 or 4 is what I call average. 3, 4, okay, 5, I can still function. But then when we start getting at like 6, 7, that's when we start to just say, okay, sometimes I can't leave the house. There are times when it's debilitating, it's disabling, where I need help even with food. I need someone to bring me my food. When I'm too lightheaded or my migraine's pounding too hard, I need help. Sometimes a migraine can last for a few hours, and then there are those times that are kind of sucky, but we get through it, where the migraine lasts about 3 days. And during that time, I would call an extreme flare-up, because if I have a migraine, it's going to domino effect and make all my other symptoms worse. And when I'm extremely flared up like that, that's when people do not see me. I am in hiding and not really doing too well. But when my symptoms are more lower is when I get out, and that's when it's hard for people to even know I'm going through something, because typically I'm smiling and I'm trying to be as happy and jolly as I can, because I want to actually feel normal for that moment. I want to be healthy. I don't want to talk about my health too much usually. Now, I do not mind it when people are trying to genuinely ask me how I'm doing, or they want to learn more about my condition. If people ask, I will happily answer. It's fine. But if people aren't asking, or if I'm not trying to have a deep conversation with someone, then it's not a topic that I always bring up unless I'm in the mood to talk about it, because when I get out, it's usually like an escape. And I like to, as I mentioned, mask, kind of psych myself out and pretend as if I am healthy for that moment, because it really does impact you mentally and emotionally in a pretty blissful way. Now, if you're wondering what I've tried holistic measures, natural medicine, acupuncture for months, went to 3 different physical therapy places for months each. I try everything for months to make sure to properly test it if it works or not. chiropractors. I do lots of massages. Those are so peaceful. Do love massages. I got a water filter. I make sure my food is not processed. I've changed the body products that I use, even around the house. Makeup, I've changed to the natural, safe kind. Here's another tip, is just be careful with whatever products that you're using, because when I took a marketing class in college, I didn't realize how much people can get away with falsely advertising that something is green or clean, because a lot aren't. So you have to do your research. So that took a long time to slowly change my products, but I have over time. I've checked and cleaned my environment. Now, all these things that I mentioned, I have been working on before I got my diagnosis about a year ago. I have been working on all these things since I got sick. So it's been a handful of years of me working through these things, because when I got sick in the beginning, I naturally was like, okay, let's go to the basics. Let me just do what I know I should do. So I've been working on these for a while, and I keep doing them still to this day, because even though I still have my symptoms, they do help me feel better mentally and emotionally, and also physically too. Hydrate, eat well. I make sure even when I don't feel too great that I at least move my body. I still do my stretches. I still do my exercises and light weights. I dance daily. I try to go on walks when I'm well enough to. I socialize when I'm well enough to. Something very helpful was healing through past hurt that I went through by going to therapy, self-reflecting, journaling. I focus on glimmers and gratitude. I have a video about that. My last video, focusing on glimmers and gratitude, helps in certain cases like this. I think that's pretty much I meditate all the time. I do breath work. I'm probably missing some stuff, but you get the picture. Girlie is trying. I'm trying everything I can, and I'm gonna keep doing it because it's healthy for you anyways. So if you're already healthy, please do some of those things that I mentioned, because they're healthy and they will help regulate your nervous system and keep you balanced, and it may even prevent certain diseases or whatnots from forming, because if your nervous system is regulated and your body is in tune with yourself, that's a good thing. So I always say, start while you're healthy, because why not? Why not make yourself feel the most refreshed you can? It's a good thing. You can be doing everything properly, healthfully, and sometimes life happens. So never be too hard on yourself, whatever you're going through. And here are some little things that help me when I'm feeling low, whether it be mentally or physically, because I have gone through depression, and I also am going through health issues. So here's what helps me. But glimmers and gratitude, trying to be present and not comparing myself to others or even comparing myself to my past. It's more of trying to release the past and be present and say, what can I do now? What will help me right now to move forward? What do I desire? What is my heart desire? What is at my core? What can I do to make myself feel more cozy now? I have some very cozy socks that I put on when I'm not feeling well. I will drink a warm cup of tea. I will do breath work and journal. I like to read. I have some fantasy books that bring me joy. Some light movement, maybe it's music, whatever it may be. It's more so just doing something that will make you smile and trying to say, hey, whatever's happening will pass. And for example, when I do go through intense flare-ups, that's what I tell myself, because it is true. When I do have those migraines that are debilitating, it will pass, because it does. I may not know when, but it will pass. And eventually my symptoms will steady out again. I'll be able to get out. I'll feel decent-ish again. Everything is coming in waves, so just knowing that whatever is happening in your life will pass. And that's kind of how life is in general. It's always a bunch of ongoing waves endlessly. Rewiring your nervous system is also extremely healing. What also brings me hope is remembering all these stories of people. I'm sure you've heard of some who were told by some of the highest specialists or doctors maybe that they couldn't walk again, and then they end up walking. It may take time, but they do. Your nervous system, I mentioned this before in a different video, I believe, has neuroplasticity. You can rewire your nervous system to an extent, though. Your body is able to heal, but there are certain cases where it only can heal so much. But with that being said, why not try to rewire your nervous system to heal as much as your body is capable of, which we're all different. Each body is unique, and the body is very intricate. So why not try to make your body the strongest you can make it? Those stories are very hopeful and inspiring for me because of what I'm going through. There is no cure for. My doctors, they don't know what to tell me. Fibromyalgia, there's no cure for it. There's no take this and you'll be better. Fibromyalgia is basically, think of it as a glitchy, broken nervous system. That's what fibromyalgia is. In shortest terms, my neurotransmitters, my neurons are not signaling like they're supposed to. Sometimes this can be caused from illnesses, injuries, accidents, too much trauma mentally. Those are some known causes, but there's also unknown causes too. It's pretty much anything that makes your nervous system kind of like snap into a place that it ain't supposed to be in. Basically, I would think of it maybe if you have a really sick functioning computer and then this glitch happens and it's never the same again. It's still working. It still does everything it's supposed to do, but it ain't working like it used to work. It's like a glitchy circuit board. Did that make sense? I think it did. That's what fibromyalgia is. That's what a nervous system condition is, pretty much. In simplest terms, I guess. Anyways, so I do know one thing is neuroplasticity, and you can rewire your nervous system. So that always gives me hope. And even though there are times where it is rough and I do break and I cry and I let it out, that's healthy. Even in this state, there is so many blessings to be grateful for, and I am still able to get out at times. I am still able to create my art. I have to find balance and do everything in a bit more of a very, not a bit, a very spread out matter, but I'm still able to live, to create. Just have to take things very slow, trying to slow down my life a bit. Just slow down and be present and feel safe in my own body. And I don't know, that's helped me. Well, my shirt is falling down. There we go. That's what fibromyalgia is. It does not affect your lifespan, but it does affect the quality of your life, and it can be disabling in terms of your symptoms. Just like flares. When you're in a flare, maybe it's disabling. For certain individuals, their fibromyalgia is way worse than mine, and it could be constantly disabling. So that's why you don't want to judge others, because you don't know how they feel. Mine jumps back and forth between functioning and disabling, but I still have those moments of function, and it's been really steady ever since I got ill. I have been pretty much the same like this. So that's how fibromyalgia affects me, and I know that's how it affects other people too, but in their own form. So it's really just knowing that we exist, and if you could just, give us some loving energy or thoughts, that would be appreciated. And just to stay hopeful and to know that just because someone says there's no cure or anything that maybe feels a bit definite, it's not always the case. Do what you can, but don't blame yourself. If you're healing, that's wonderful. If you're staying the same, don't be hard on yourself because everyone's body is different. Anyways, guys, I'm about to say, see you next time. But this video was not me trying to complain. It was me just being honest about something that I am struggling with. But I'm going to keep fighting it. And I do not give up. And fear not, do not worry about me. I am actually very happy. Physically, not feeling the greatest. But mentally and emotionally, I feel super stoked, actually. And I'm finding balance in my life and hopeful. I just feel like it's going to be okay in time. Really learning about the nervous system. I advise you to just learn about your own body, really figure your own self out, and try to just have an open heart to try to see different perspectives so you can have more humanity towards people. I cannot speak for certain mental or physical conditions that I don't have, but know that they're out there. And even though all of our symptoms are different, so always just try to be kind because some people be going through it. If you can relate to any of these symptoms that I said or going through the whole process of waiting for appointments and different diagnoses, if you want to comment or chat about it, let me know. Take care of yourself. Much love. Goodbye for now. Bye-bye. Until next time. Okay, wait. Ta-ta!